1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hey, everybody. Hey, everybody.
Good afternoon. It is Tuesday, May the 5th. I am Bruce Leonard, of course. Thank you for tuning in to another hour of Bruce Leonard Leans Left while it's still legal. It's still legal today. I got some breaking news for you. If you didn't already know this, you probably should have. But Trump's great, big, giant, beautiful ballroom will not be free. Remember, he said, "We're gonna build it ourselves, right? It's gonna cost taxpayers not one dime, not one penny. Me and a bunch of rich guys are gonna pay for it. It's gonna cost $200 million. $200 million," he said. Then he said, "Me and a bunch of rich guys are gonna pay for it. It's not gonna cost taxpayers not one single penny, not one dime. It's going to cost $400 million." And now, today, the Senate Republicans introduced their budget supplemental bill. And in the bill is appropriation. In addition to amounts otherwise available, there is appropriated to the United States Secret Service for fiscal year 2026, out of any money in the Treasury not otherwise appropriated, $1 billion to remain available until September 30th, 2029, for the purposes of security adjustments and upgrades, including within the perimeter fence of the White House compound, to support enhancements by the United States Secret Service related to the East Wing Modernization Project, better known as Trump's Great Big Beautiful Ballroom, including above ground and below ground security features. So a bat cave, basically. What's up, Julia? $1 billion. It was $200 million, not $400 million, now $1 billion. And now they're trying to say, oh, well, the $1 billion is for the bat cave underneath and all the other things. It's not one penny is going to go to the... Are you kidding me? Really? And remember the other day when Spirit Airline went out of business, right? Sean Duffy said, well, we just don't have $500 million just laying around. Well, it appears to me that you fucking do. Here's $1 billion. As a matter of fact, seems like you had double that laying around, didn't you? Couldn't save Spirit, but then they tried to blame the collapse of Spirit Airlines, of course, on Joe Biden. Because he didn't let JetBlue and Spirit merge. You know what would happen if JetBlue and Spirit would have merged? They would have both been out of business. So don't give me that bullshit. And then this is just like Trump has done his whole entire career, and you have allowed him to do it. To just lie to your fucking face. This is just like Mexico is going to pay for the wall. Did Mexico ever pay for that wall? I don't believe they did. I mean, if you could show me that they did somewhere, I'll listen. But I don't think they fucking did. Just like this ballroom. You're going to pay for it. You, me, us. Right? They don't have any money for your health care, for your grandma's health care. But they got $1 billion for this fucking ballroom. Are you kidding me? I said, how many fucking people got fucked with Spirit just went out? This is just within the last week. Julia says it wasn't Biden, it was a Reagan appointed judge who denied the merger. Yes, I know. But see, facts, they don't care about the truth. These people lie about every single fucking thing. And the fact that they're still blaming Joe Biden for any of this. He came in and took a wrecking ball to the entire government. So you own this government, Trump. I don't want to hear about Joe fucking Biden. He's gone. He's been long gone. So I don't know what the fuck. It's unbelievable. The very fact that they would sit there and say Joe Biden's name about anything. Yes, kid, they did. This is Joe Biden's fault. What's up, Chow Chow? Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, they're still trying to blame all this on Joe Biden. And like, you got to be fucking kidding me. Now, whatever you say, thank you, Angry Magma. Whatever you say about Joe Biden, I don't care what you feel about him one way or the other. Right now, at this point, he is irrelevant. Joe Biden didn't cause any of this. This is all on Trump. Joe Biden didn't do tariffs. Joe Biden didn't start a war in Iran. Joe Biden didn't. Now, for all the people that keep saying that Trump is a genius because now people are buying oil from us, okay. Now, that might be true. But this is the problem with the mega people. Trump, especially. I mean, he being the leader of the mega people and the dumb fucks that follow him. But they don't think long range about anything, There's no thought about the long-term implications of what you're doing. Everybody just thinks that this is great, and we're just gonna crush Iran. Everything's gonna be great. Do you realize that they haven't achieved one single objective? Today, Marco Rubio even said he said, well, our objective now is to reopen the Strait of Hormuz, which was open before you fucking did this. We'll get to that in a second because he was really pissing me off. But here we go. It says, all told, over the past 9 weeks, more than 250 million barrels of crude oil from oil wells and storage tanks across the U.S. have been shipped overseas. That's made the country once again the number one exporter of crude, overtaking Saudi Arabia and turning it into a lifeline for global consumers as the near closure of the Strait of Hormuz throttles Middle Eastern supplies. But record American exports also come with warnings that this supply cushion is rapidly being pushed to its limits. Many energy experts are questioning how long shipments can be sustained at such levels. U.S. domestic inventories are quickly depleting, with total oil and fuel stockpiles drawing down for 4 straight weeks to below historical averages. Meanwhile, America's oil producers are struggling to keep up. Ships are coming to take our oil, but once significant volumes of oil are leaving the United States, it can be expected that the balances will tighten. So what he's doing is he's selling the oil that me and you need. With no fucking care in the world. What happens if they don't get this fucking problem solved quick? The Strait of Hormuz is blocked, still blocked. There's nothing coming out. There's a ceasefire, but they were firing at each other the last 2 days. It's a war, but it's not a war. So Marco Rubio said today, it's not a war anymore. It's a defensive action. Right? Yeah, for a war. Right? Fucking war. It's like, oh, it's just a small blockade. That's an active war. And today, Marco Rubio, he had the balls to say, oh, Iran is targeting commercial vessels. This is outrageous. This is outrageous. I like, what, like bombing fishing boats in the Caribbean? It's the same fucking thing. He goes, oh, they can't take control of international waterway. Oh, like your blockade of Cuba? It's the same thing. The fucking lack of self-awareness of these people. And that's what's wrong with America and why everybody hates America. It's like, and he's talking about international law. Like, we violate international law all the fucking time. Why should they respect international law when you're bombing fucking fishermen in the Caribbean for a reality TV show so you can prove how tough you are? You know, and it's already been proven that these boats they've been shooting, not all of them have drugs on them. They're fishermen. They murdered 200-something people. That's not against international law. Now you're talking about Iran's got to respect international law. You can't flaunt and do whatever you want and break international laws. Going in and kidnapping a president of another country, that's against international law, I believe. Did that stop Trump? No. No, Jamma Mamma. I am not Alex Jones. Unlike Alex Jones, I won't lie to you. Yes, Julia. Julia says because they're past the 60-day deadline to bring it to Congress for approval, so now they're trying to rename it. Yes, exactly. It's 59 days. It's been stopped. It's not a war anymore. What does it even matter, Julia? The Congress ain't gonna make them go. They're all a bunch of nutlickers. They're not gonna do anything. That's the fucking problem here. It's just like tonight. You realize tonight, they spent $10 million, right, on the state Senate seats in Indiana because, what's up, Laffy Love? Jimmy, you're back. What's up? Jimmy Meyer says, is Alex Jones eating his neighbor's ass yet? I don't know, but have you seen Heidecker's impersonation? It's fucking brilliant. He sounds just like him. You can tell he's worked on that for a while. He sounds just like him. But anyway, like I said, you can't violate international law on a daily fucking basis. Look what Israel does. And you're gonna tell the Iranians they gotta honor international law? Are you fucking kidding me? This is the problem. This is why you have norms and standards and rules. Yes, Jamma Mamma, I thought the same thing. It was like, he can't do that impression forever. He's gonna wind up sounding like that for real. It's like when I used to yell and scream in all them bands. I was like, yeah, this is going to take a toll on your voice. But fuck it, I was pissed off. Anyway, like I said, it's a fucking joke. And then they said today, there's a report today that says Iran's nuclear program wasn't even hurt. It's pretty much the same as it was before the war started. And they keep saying, "Oh, the Iranian economy is terrible. And they got 70% inflation, and their dollar ain't worth the shit." I forget what it's called. Their money. Jamma Mama says I do a mean RFK impression. Makes me feel regarded. Oh yeah, you can do the meat what? I always thought that guy was using some kind of voice modulator or something. That can't be somebody's real voice. Jimmy says, it's funny how these so-called Republicans always talk shit about the left. They don't say nothing at all about the people in the middle that don't like them. Yes, exactly. Well, see, they don't care about that. That's why they're trying to rig these maps and shit. They don't give a fuck what you want. They don't care about democracy or any of that shit. They care about power and having power over you. And that's all they care about. That's all they've ever cared about. It's like enforcing their will upon you. He says, nope, that's just Dave Willis watching an interview with him. Really? He sounds like that for real? Like that's his real voice? MC Chris got that weird voice, too. Like, he sounds like that. Hey, man, thanks for coming back. But yeah, the whole thing is fucked. Jimmy says if gas keeps going up, they're going to find out. Yeah. Well, that's what I was saying before I started reading the comments. Was tonight in Indiana, they spent $10 million trying to primary out these Republicans, 7 Republican senators who wouldn't redistrict Indiana. These are state senators, not even federal senators, and Trump is going after them. They said they usually spend $200,000 on their race. Now it's $10 million. to get rid of some Indiana state senators just because they went against Trump and Trump put the machine on them. Yes, I did get a haircut on it. Finally. Getting a little shaggy. Anyway. And he said, and you see all these, what's up, boy? It has all these commercials now. He's trying to get Massey voted out. Our thing isn't till the 19th. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, Julia, $5 a gallon here today. Yeah, I paid $4.99 yesterday to fill up before I drove out to Laura's house. $4.99. It cost me almost $70 to fill up my car. Jamma Mama says the bourgeois will bleed the proletariat dry before anything happens. Yeah. Jimmy says it was $4.50 outside of Boston today. Man, that's actually cheap. I would imagine it would be more expensive in Boston. And I said this is in Kentucky. It was $4.99 just yesterday, but today I saw $4.79. It's going up and down. It's fluctuating between $4.85. You know, like. Yeah, I was gonna say $4.50 outside Boston. That's not bad. I mean, it's still fucking terrible, but in today's climate, like I said, I paid $4.99. Multi-Tick says Israel win, Israel forever. What? Why? Explain yourself, please. I mean, I don't. Everybody's allowed to have a position here, but why? Ken Capman says it's still $4.99 in Michigan. Yeah, the farther you get inland, when you get into the middle, it's the most expensive, which is weird because you think as you got closer to Texas, it would get cheaper, right? So I was wondering about the whole thing because they said that we don't really refine our own oil. We sell oil and then we buy oil and then we refine the oil that we buy. And I was like, why don't we just refine the oil that we make and then we could make our own gas and all that other shit? We could take ourselves out of the world market, really, if you wanted to. Seems like to me. But then I started looking into it and it said the United States does refine a large amount of its own oil, but it simultaneously imports and exports significant volumes due to a complex mix of economical, technical, and logistical factors. As of 2026, the U.S. is the world's largest oil producer, but it operates within a global market where maximizing efficiency and profit often means selling domestic crude and buying foreign crude. And here's why the U.S. doesn't exclusively refine its own oil. Most oil produced in the U.S. is shale oil, light, sweet crude. However, the majority of U.S. refineries, particularly on the Gulf Coast, were built or upgraded in the 1970s to 90s to process heavy sour crude from countries like Canada, Mexico, and Venezuela. Retooling refineries to handle light crude instead of heavy crude is technically possible, but economically inefficient, costing billions per facility. So U.S. refineries are optimized to take cheaper, dirty, heavy oil and turn it into high-value products like gasoline and diesel, a process that is more profitable than refining light domestic shale oil. So that's why we don't. I thought that was interesting because I don't know that much about the oil industry. It's like beyond the fact that they make all the money and occasionally spill a bunch of it into the ocean. It's like Jimmy says, I'm a power plant engineer. I stopped trying to explain the evaporation process, viscosity, and different types of oil. They're trying to turn chemistry into some creepy conspiracy theory. All of it, Jimmy. All science. Don't you understand that? That's how you get to where we are now, where people won't accept basic facts of truth, is that you undermine, it started with the press. They start undermining the press. And then they built up their whole network. They got Fox News and they got all the OANs and the Newsmax and all that shit. And they got that all set up, right? Then they turned onto science and education. And start sowing doubts on that. They say, oh, your kids are being indoctrinated in schools and the education is no good. And science, scientists don't know what they're talking about. Climate change is a hoax, and then they got to start saying all this other shit that they know isn't true. And like I said, they made the Creation Museum here. To me, that was one of the first steps. It's like they're going to start to indoctrinate people to doubt science. Jimmy says we ship out number 6 fuel oil because we use natural gas. We ship in crude with the light viscosity. It's not that complicated, right? Well, I mean, to the average, we get back to what we're talking about on the show, right? Obviously, you're one of the top, let's say 10%, right, of intelligent people on the earth, right? This is true. You don't have to be that super genius to be that high up in the percentages, because I was too, and I couldn't believe it. I was like, there's no fucking way. Somehow I keep scoring in the top 5% of all. I don't know how that is. And I was high half the time. Which goes back to the point that 90% of the people on this earth are hairless monkeys. So to them, that is complicated, Jimmy. You're like, huh? What? Viscosity? Julia says, keep in mind just how many products are made with petroleum, plastics, etc. All products going to skyrocket in price. Not even that. Natural gas comes through the Strait. That's what I mean. He keeps saying, we don't need the Strait of Hormuz. It's like, well, we might not need it for oil, but like you said, other shit comes through there. Fertilizer? We don't make fertilizer. All these farmers are about to get fucked. John says it was the wheat. Jimmy says, I'll stick with 120,000 a year sitting on my ass and working in physics. They can go work at Walmart. Yeah, exactly. I mean, like I said, working in retail is not, I mean, I've done it. I do it now. I mean, I'm not out on the floor anymore, but I got a desk at a computer. Ken says these prices and sanctions they got, China might go to war with us. Yeah, right? I don't think anybody's going to go to war, but I've said they're definitely eyeing the situation, Trump, I wish I just said this is when I got banned for life and all my writings and predictions, they got wiped away. Because I said this before, years and years and years ago. It's like the other countries, they want Trump to be president because they know he's going to fuck up like this and that they can fuck him, and they will. They're going to. Don't think they're not. John says my retail gig is a pain in the ass. Yeah, I mean, it is a pain in the ass working retail for sure. But I said I don't really work in, I work in the store, but my job now is I'm the receiver. I'm mostly in the back, and I run the beer and wine. I order the beer and wine. I stock the beer and wine. I'm the only department that makes a lot of money now. So basically, they just leave me alone, which is how I like it. It's like, although I'm busy, there's a lot to do for sure. And if the store starts to disintegrate around you, you got to start dealing with shit that ain't really your job. And this makes it worse. It's like, but like I said, it's like most people are fucking dumb. Right, Jimmy has Homer Simpson's job. Right, you sit there in front of the nuclear power plant display. They're waiting for an alarm to go off. Yeah, so I don't have to go out I don't have to deal with people hardly ever. You know, I only go out on the floor to get coffee or something. Or get something to eat. Otherwise, I stay in the cave in the back. But it was just funny. Cosmic says I need a product manager job, right? And just need one of these jobs that these Trump dudes got. Just roll you out in front of a camera and you just lie your ass off. Everything's great. I don't know if you watch these shows, these Sunday shows at least on Sundays. Turn them on, check it out. They roll them all out there. They're all lying their asses out. They're all like, "Oh yeah, everything's great." And, sure, gas prices are high, but that's because of Joe Biden. Sure, Spirit Airlines just went out of business, but that's because of Joe Biden. They keep talking about Joe Biden. And like I said before, I don't care how you feel about Joe Biden, if you liked him or you hated him. Joe Biden ain't got shit to do with anything that's going on right now. Because Trump came in day one, took a wrecking ball. I said, cleared the government out. Today he was going, you got to have smart people. Well, we're in trouble. Because you cleared out all the smart people. Replace it with drooling nutlickers. Which is why you're fucking filing court filings that look like a Truth Social post. Complete with TDS and capital letters. This is supposed to be a court filing. Do you realize this? Over 3,000 lawyers have left the Justice Department. They're down like, I forget what they said. It's like 75, not 75% down, but I'm saying they're down like half of their workforce. They've either been purged or fired or they quit because they were asked to do some bullshit that they didn't want to do. And now they're just hiring anyone that, if you pass the bar, you can work at the Justice Department. No courtroom experience whatsoever. When you pass the bar and lick Donald Trump's balls, you're hired. Never been in a courtroom. Jimmy says in 2007, George Bush stepped out and took responsibility, even though it had nothing to do with him. These assholes would take responsibility for nothing. Yeah, exactly. All of this is because of Donald Trump. All of it. I said, he could have just became president, did hardly nothing, and just let it grow, let it cruise, because the economy was on the right track. It was doing pretty good. He fucking taps. And it's like, we're going to war. We're changing it. Like I said before, as soon as they changed the Department of Defense to the Department of War, you should have known we're going to fucking war. Trump thinks he's Alexander the Great or something. Julia says, I feel for you, John. I spent 12 years working retail pharmacy. I love my job now. I work alone, cleaning a high school at night. Laura says, I'd be scared how you're all alone there. It's like, yeah, she said she was alone. John says, do you have a secret room in the basement? Like Freddy Krueger. I like jobs where you're alone. When I worked at Whole Foods, all I did was unload a truck at night. Third shift. No one's there. Just put your headphones on. Unload the truck. Stack it all in the cooler. No one talked to you. No one, I'd sit there. I'd just work, lift boxes, and listen to like Joe Rogan podcast. Jimmy says, don't forget the Federal Bureau of Intoxication, FBI. No, that's what I mean. They purged every agency of anybody who wasn't loyal to Donald Trump. They're like, are you loyal to Donald Trump? No, we're gonna get the fuck out. We got some 20-year-old kid lined up to take your place. Guy's got 45 years of counterterrorism experience. No, well, he's not loyal. And that's what it is. That's what's going on. Remember that guy, Big Balls? He's like 22-year-old kid. He's like walking into Social Security agency, all these fucking agencies, and just firing people who are like 3 times his age, been working. Jimmy says, well, how are you going to set up a terrorist attack if there's someone there to catch it? Yeah. But then things happen like Savannah Guthrie's mom mysteriously disappears and everybody that could have fucking solved the case is gone. Sasso says, I have 0 years in counterterrorism experience. You're hired! Has never hired anybody for ICE. I could have went and got a job at ICE. Anyone could. I mean, you still could probably. And they're like, it's like a big bonus. It's like $25,000 sign-on bonus. It's like, shit, I'd fucking go just to get the bonus if it get fired on purpose. I also thought about doing it like to be like a mole. But I was like, they figured me out quick. It's like, so maybe like, hey man, it's like, cause I use a different name, of course. Maybe like, hey man, looks like Bruce Leonard. Who's Bruce Leonard? I'll check it out. And they're like, holy shit, he works for us. I told you I got all the way to the 3rd interview to work at for the Reds, and that happened. I passed through 3 interviews. And the final one, I was doing good too at the interview. And then the guy was like, oh, I see it. What's this on your email? Bruce Leonard. I was like, oh, I had to tell him. Of course, he looked me up and didn't get the job. Julia says, I'm not totally alone. I have coworkers who are in other areas of the campus. Gym custodian, vocational building custodian, and the other half of the high school. Never see them, right? You don't even have lunch together? Usually the 3rd shift I gather for breaks and lunches. I worked the graveyard shift, I said, for years. That's another whole nother experience. It's like the only time you see the sun is when you're driving home. It's like, you might stay up for an hour or 2 because you can't, usually right when you get off work, you can't just go home and lay down, go right to sleep. So you wind up staying up for a couple hours, but then you sleep all day. When you wake up, sun's going down. It's like, fuck. It's just like a vampire. I said, do you work the 3rd shift, Julia? Or is it like after school, like 3 to 11? That's the worst. Because like, oh, you can't do nothing really because you go to work. I never did like that 2nd shift. I worked that too sometimes. And it's like, that's the worst one, I think. I'd rather work graveyards than 2nd. It's like 3 to 11, then you get off. It's like, there ain't nothing to do. It's 11 o'clock at night. Unless you're drunk, I guess. You go to a bar, or something. Yeah, that's what we were talking about, though, Jimmy. I said he's hollowed out the whole government and replaced it with fucking idiots. That's why Marco Rubio looks brilliant all of a sudden. Today he was talking, they were like, oh, he's such a good, effective communicator. He knows everything about foreign policy, in and out, back and forth. And you're like, well, how come he ain't doing it negotiate? He's the Secretary of State. No, we got Jared Kushner and my golf buddy. They're going to handle these high-stakes nuclear negotiations with Iran. Julia says, I work 2:30 to 11. I don't have my meal breaks with them. They're mega. So, yeah, fuck them. You should talk to him now. Because I have seen some waffling, some of these people who are like, oh, I don't think it's doing what he. This is what I don't understand about MAGAs. I said, Trump, in general, is he fucking lies constantly. He's been lying since he came out. He lies. Listen, this ballroom, this supposedly free ballroom, is now going to cost you $1 billion. Right? It's just like the wall. He started out with the wall. Mexico will pay for the wall. Not $1 US. Laura says, so you're working right now? Yes, she always listens to me at work. Jimmy says my solitary confinement is from 2 to 10. Yeah, see, that's one of the worst, I think. As I said, you can't really do anything in the day. You got to go work at 2. And then you get off at 10, and there ain't nothing going on. Or everybody else is already going to bed or whatever. Jimmy says, and they still call themselves conservatives. It's ridiculous. Yeah. Yeah. It's just like I was saying the other day, though. Like Rogan and Theo Von and all these people that helped him, Andrew Schultz. They're all like, well, I don't understand. It's like, what is it that you don't understand? That you got played like a bitch? Like, that you're fucking stupid? Yes. That's one thing you learn from this era of history is that let's be a conservative estimate. 30% of human beings that you're surrounded by are soulless shitbags or who are completely irredeemable. Basket of deplorables was like a nice word to call them. They're way worse than that. These are Nazis and scumbags and shitbags. Like Daniele said, 5% of the population in the 1920s were card-carrying members of the KKK, not like sympathetic to the KKK. Members. Julia said, you forgot, Bruce, I live in a rural, red southern Illinois town. There isn't a goddamn thing to do here. Right, except go to a bar and drink. That's why everybody in the Midwest is drunks. That's all there is to do. When I was younger, I said, what are you going to do this weekend? Everybody's going out to a cornfield and drink beer. Just stand in a cornfield? Oh, yeah. Well, we might build a fire or something. It's like, but pretty much just stand in a cornfield drinking beer. If you get drunk enough and there's any around, you go cow tipping. It's like, which is one of the dumbest and cruel things ever invented. It's like, go push a cow over. It's unbelievable. But I said, it's the Midwest. There ain't nothing to do. That's why I said, there's people that made swap people, or any of those redneck shows. People that are like, you know what, would make gripping television. Watching toothless rednecks grab a fucking turtle out of the water. Oh, yeah, that's a TV show. Or noodling. You ever heard of that? That's a real redneck thing to do. Noodling, right? Where it's where you go fishing, but you don't use a fishing pole. You go down there by the river's edge where there's trees with roots and shit sticking out. And you go down and you feel around in there till you find a big catfish hiding out in there. And then you stick your arm in there and get him to bite you, and then you pull him out. That's a sport. Rednecks. And their arms are all red, chewed up. They pull big ass fish out too. Fucking 20-pound catfish just fucking latched onto his arm. He just pulled it out. They call it noodling. Julia says, if I want to do something fun, I have to drive an hour west of St. Louis, right? That's why I said I'm lucky. I live right on the other side of the river from the city. I can get in my car. I can be downtown 5 minutes. It's great. Laura said it took me an hour to get to my best friend's house in the same city. But L.A., yeah. It takes an hour to get anywhere in L.A. It's like here. It's like 20 minutes. That's why I live in the greatest place location. I'm 20 minutes from anywhere in the Cincinnati area and like 5 minutes from downtown. But yet I don't live in Ohio. I live in the Kentucky side, so it's quieter. Not as much shooting and shit. Ken says, never understood that. What? Standing in a cornfield drinking beer? Or noodling? Oh, yeah, Laura says, not here from my house to Yvonne's. Yeah, but you live far out, even by... I mean, you live on the edge of the circle of the Cincinnati area. Yeah, Laura says, don't even get me started about Los Angeles. Yeah, exactly. I drove to Los Angeles from Vegas to go visit my friend. It's a 4-hour drive. And I got there smooth time. 3 hours, 45 minutes. I was like, oh yeah, I'm doing great. It's like Los Angeles city limits. Stopped. Took another hour to get to his house. I'm not kidding. So the next time I went, I had to time it out. It was like, all right, I leave in the morning so that I don't get, this time I left at like 11. So I got there, with 3 or 4 rush hours about to start, and you get caught in the traffic. See, Lars's cornfield parties are the best. Not really. Wherever it comes out of a cornfield party, except for puking or date rapes, it's not fist fights. It's not a great. Just standing around somewhere, anywhere, just doing nothing and drinking is like. It's like it's a Midwest thing. That's what I'm saying. Jimmy says a beer in Boston is cheaper than a gallon of gas. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Laura, that's true. Wherever we went, now, and then this is no shit. In Indiana, no matter where we went, like they'd be like, my dad has a hunting cabin. It's way out there in the fucking woods. It's like, we're going out there to drink. We'll have a party. And we'd go out there on the weekend, and fucking cops would show up every time. It's like, dude, we're way out here in the woods. We're not bothering anybody. It's like, you boys out here drinking beers. It's like, what? Yes. It's like, what the fuck? The question is, why are you bothering us? It's like, I always be like, that's why they didn't like me, because I can't ever keep my mouth shut. I get in trouble all the time for that. And I'm like, man, you guys really must not have nothing to do. One time I was drinking to drive, I swear. And I don't recommend it. But I got pulled over, of course. And the police officer was a woman. She was young, man. She looked like she just got out of the academy. And she was like holding her flashlight up to my face, and her hand was shaking. And I was like, first time? And I would say all kinds of shit to her. It's like, of course they arrested me. And then I got a lawyer, and he saw the tape. And he, after he still watched the tape, he came back to me. He was like, hey, man, I don't recommend you do or say any of that stuff. Please. I was fucking with her the whole time. It's like, well, I know she's gonna arrest me because she's young and she's looking to get arrest numbers. She's not gonna be like, oh, you only had a couple beers, go home. Like, no, I'm getting arrested. And I'm always like, if I'm gonna get arrested, they're gonna hear what I have to fucking say. Damn, Jimmy, $2 beer. The Vernon Hotel, Worcester, Massachusetts, $2 Narragansett. Wow. Shit, I might go up there for $2 beer. You ever been to Boston? Yeah, I went one time. But it's like, oh, what'd you see? I didn't go anywhere. I went to this place, had $2 beer. I stayed there the whole time. I went on vacation for $150. It's like, but see, people don't understand is, or what I don't understand, I shouldn't say what people don't understand. What I don't understand is how Donald Trump has gotten away with this all this time. And just now, people are like, hey, man, he might be lying to me. He told 55,000 lies. He told so many lies. They clipped them all together on BBC and played them while he was in England. And it was over 24 hours long, the fucking montage of Trump lying. Jimmy Myers says Babe Ruth used to hang out there. Well, the beers were still $2. No, back then, it's probably like 20 cents for a beer. Babe Ruth. They don't make them like that anymore. Fucking professional athlete. He's fat. It's like, they say he was eating hot dogs out in the outfield. He's probably drunk half the time. Jimmy says, I'm pretty sure, just like Jimmy Hoffa, he's got pictures on everybody. Hey, I know you did. Exactly. Jimmy Hoffa's problem is he got in too deep with the wrong people, And then when he told the mob he's going to cut him out of the pension fund, they were like, nah, I don't think so. Jimmy Hoffa was like, remember The Dark Knight Rises? When that guy was talking to Bane, that guy was like, hey, man, I'm in charge here. And then Bane, like, grabs him and puts him on the wall. It's like, do you feel like you're in charge? That's when Jimmy Hoffa got it. He's like, hey, man, I'm running this gig. And they're like, no, you're not. The mob's running the gig. And the mob will always win. Because they'll just fucking kill you. End this story. Whenever you get involved with people like that, you got to understand, like, now you're involved. And if you're not willing to raise the stakes and play by their rules, you're going to get ran over, eaten up, used up, because they don't give a fuck about nothing except making money. Like Trump. I don't know if you've seen this story, but it's true. They said now Trump's hanging over aid over all these countries, blackmailing them, like in Africa and shit. It's like, if you don't do what I want, we won't give you the aid that you need to, like, save people with AIDS and shit. I'm not kidding you. These people are soulless fucking monsters. Monsters. And people say, oh, that's a strong word. Like, no, it's not a strong word. It is what it is. They're fucking monsters. Soulless, evil, piece of shit, meat bags of shit. Empty, soulless. Willing to say and do anything for power and money. Period. Jimmy. They never did find Jimmy, did they, Jimmy? I know they said that they figured out like the guy that Scorsese made that movie where the guy confessed at the end, and so they finally said this is probably how it happened. He got lured to that house in Michigan. They shot him and then wrapped him up and they took him somewhere. But even then, they didn't say where, and they never have found his remains. He just disappeared off the face of the earth. If you ask me, I said they crushed him in one of them cars. They put him in the trunk of a car. That's an old mob way to get rid of people. They take you to put you in the trunk of a car. They take that car to the junkyard like they did in Pulp Fiction. And they crunch the car into a cube or whatever. And then they come and get the crushed cars and they take them to a place where they recycle metal. So they melt them down. So if there's a body in the cube, it just melts in the metal, the molten metal, and you just disappear off the face of the earth. That's why the mob was always involved in junkyards and salvage yards and shit like that. It's a good place to get rid of shit. Although you see this, like Jimmy, you probably know this. Like something, and in New York too, they had like a graveyard. Like what's his name, Whitey Bulger? He had a place it's like a strip. It was out by the airport where they kill people and they just take them there and bury them for years. It's like bodies just stacked up in this place. In New York, it's the same thing. When me and Laura watched this thing, they said the Gambinos had this little place where John Gotti we should take and bury people. It's like right in the city. These guys are ballsy, man. It's like, but yeah, I said Whitey Bulger. He just buried people. Like I said, right out by the airport or something. There was a strip. They called it. That's what they call it, the graveyard. America's a crazy place. That's why I was thinking it's hilarious. So it's like the story that they sell you of what America is and what it really is are two different fucking things. And that's why I said we've been doing what Marco Rubio was doing today. We do whatever the fuck we want. And then we point our fingers at everybody else and tell them that they got to follow these rules that we don't follow. We try to act all high and mighty. And like I said, there was a time when we could pretend like we were high and mighty and you could get away with it. But now, Trump's got this country in the sewer, man. There is no pretending that we're right about anything anymore. And our European allies, they don't fucking... Julia said, I thought his remains were going to pop up when Lake Mead started drying out. No, he didn't, but some other people did. They found a lot of bodies when Lake Mead was drying out. I heard a whole bit about it. Yeah, guys in barrels and shit. They just dropped out into the the water went down. It was like, oh, what's this barrel? It's got bones in it. That happened here. It was years and years and years ago. It was like 25 years ago, or whatever. But the mob used to run Newport, Kentucky. It was like a Vegas here. They had a supper club, and all the famous people played there. And all up and down the Mama Street were strip bars and gambling joints. And the mob fucking ran all of it. And so there was all kinds of this was like a, right, Laura? So I used to say all the time, it's like, this water tastes funny. They're like, it's vintage, 1960s mafia. There's a few bodies in the water. It's for flavor. Crazy. But no, he was killed in like Michigan or some shit. Right? Or outside Chicago. I can't remember exactly where. Yeah, he was meeting with the mobsters. But like I said, we don't have no moral high ground. Anyway, I didn't finish the story. So years later, like this is like in the 80s, they found this guy buried on the banks of the Ohio River. He had lime. They put lime on him and buried him. He'd been buried there since like the 1940s or 50s. And he was just on the riverbank for all them years. I guess what she hacked that joke from Curb Your Enthusiasm. That show is so great. Me and Laura have been rewatching it from the beginning. And you forget how great it is. And you have to like watch it the whole thing sequentially because it all goes together. It all comes back around. You can be watching an episode. If you hadn't seen the episode they're referring to, you're like, what are they talking about? Kind of like Seinfeld. But Seinfeld, everything was always. That's what I said. He's a genius writer. I know, Laura. Inside the frog's ass. Like I said, if you can tell me what you think is going to happen, how Trump's getting out of this war with Iran, I'd like to know. Because he's not. No, Ken, she meant the frog's ass thing. Lots of people went boating and swimming in Lake Mead. And it it's a huge giant lake. So it's not like, I mean, come on. There's all kinds of dead animals and dead fish and all kinds of dead shit in a lake. It's a lake. So it's a couple people. Well, I'm getting out of here. We're all getting out of here. It's been 57 minutes. Time for the big wrap up that I never have or never do. But I was wrapping up by asking you, no, when do you think this is going to end? They don't have a plan to get out of this situation. Marco Rubio, I said today, our main focus now is to reopen the strait. That wasn't even a problem when the war started. They act like they never even conceived that this could happen. Now they say, "Oh, we talked about it. We do it, but it's like when you listen to them talk, it's like you didn't really think this through, did you? You thought that you just, like I said, gonna drop a couple bombs and the Iranians were just gonna bow down. It's gonna be like Venezuela." And people acting like, they keep acting like, oh, this economic blockade's gonna fucking work. Their economy's collapsing. Their money is worthless. Like, their money's been worthless for a while, for a long time. We've had sanctions on it for years and years and years. They've been an economic pariah for a long fucking time. They had a 6-year war with Iraq. You think they give two fucks about any of that? And then China will just give them some money. Come on, man. It's amazing how stupid they are. What's up, Prajwal? Thanks for tuning in here at the end. But it's all so fucking epically stupid. And now we're just stuck in this situation where there is no... I told you before, Trump's going to have to capitulate. He's going to have to give them something. And he doesn't want to do that. He can't hold out forever. Tonight in Indiana is a real pressure test to see how much power Trump still has in the Republican Party. You see, this is the problem with Trump's, even his power in the Republican Party. Let's say that these mega nutlickers that he is put on the primary ballot, right? Like this guy that's running against Massey here, right? Because Trump wants Massey gone, so he picked this guy named Ed Gallerine. and he's running all these commercials. They're spending millions of dollars trying to get rid of Massey. But what if these guys win and then they can't win the general election? Trump just give away the seat because he just out of spite, because he wanted to get rid of the guy that didn't do what he said. But in his place, he put somebody who's unelectable in a federal election or whatever, in the re-election, general. What if people say, we don't want Trump nut lickers anymore? You know, all these people that they still got their selves attached to Trump is like, they have not thought that maybe it's possible that people don't want that anymore. He's a historical lows in the polls. And they're still like, we're going to give him $1 billion of taxpayer money for his ballroom. Well, you can't afford to eat. The fact that people put up with this, I said, again, if this was France, this country would be on fire right now. And they'd be like, fuck you. Let me set shit on fire. Because despite the popular stereotypes, the French are way fucking tougher than us. If you just found this show today, you stumbled on it. I'm here every Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, United States. You want to send me a private message? I am at Bruce Leonard Leans Left at Outlook.com. I am Bruce Leonard. I have a stand-up comedy record. It's called Cancel Cultured. It's on iTunes, YouTube Music, all the streaming services. Set Spotify. Fuck them. But Bruce, that's the most popular streaming service. Yes, it always happens for me somehow. I'm banned for life from Facebook. Spotify wouldn't accept my. I got caught in some bureaucratic loop at the time. They were fighting with comedians and spoken word artists over the streaming royalties at the time that I submitted my album, and I don't really know how to resubmit. So. But you can find it on iTunes, YouTube Music, like I said, all that. I am here every Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, United States. Please go out tonight, enjoy yourself. I'm going to watch a basketball game, I think. I love each and every one of you that watch the show. If you haven't liked the show, like the channel, subscribe, share it with your friends. Thank you. Good night. Guarantee I'd be the first to be standing there bathed in that light. Until that day I'll keep my eyes shut tight. I do not want to pick a fight. I feel more at night. Wait another day.